Good morning, everyone. I woke up with some stuff on my mind, so I'm fresh faced. What I want to talk about is, let me just title it this way: You are the past, the present, and the future simultaneously. So, obviously, you're aware that you're the present, right? You're living in the present time. So, you're aware that you are the present version of yourself. When I am talking about, talking about ancestors, they are the past version of yourself. They are living through you. You are them by way of DNA. You're giving them a body, in a sense, and a voice, in a way to continue living. So you are the past version of yourself. And when you create children, you are also the future version of yourself. And so what I'm getting at here is that the ancestors, the curious thing about that is that me being my present self, there's a lot that I want to do. There's a lot of goals and things that I might want to accomplish. But some of us, we live short lives. And when I say that, I say it, I know everybody's like, oh, life is short. I really hate when people say that. Clearly, some people's lives are a lot shorter than other people's lives. Like when somebody dies when they're like 70 and they're like, oh, life is short. You live 70 years. There's people who barely live 20 years and life is over for them. People who die in their 30s, people who die in their 40s. We all have a predestined time. And it's funny because I've always felt like as if not only do we have a predestined time, but you also kind of know when you're about to go. People make a lot of judgments like as if, okay, if you take care of your health, then you'd be here. Or if you take the best care. Taking the best care of yourself, I feel like it does elongate your life to some extent, but also like it's about quality of life. When you don't eat right, when you don't exercise and stuff, it doesn't feel like you're living at all, right? When your body doesn't feel good, you don't feel like you're living. I'm just thinking about something, and it's always made me think that we're all predestined because when I was in high school one time, there was some kids that were drag racing after a party. I wasn't there, but everybody kept talking about it. And one particular boy, there was two of them drag racing, and one of them died. And he was completely ejected from the car and died. And he was like 16, 17 years old. And the weird thing is that Friday at school, he was like, I'll see y'all around. And everybody thought like he was like a trouble kid or whatever. Everybody thought that he was like about to do something stupid to get suspended. And he was seen at this party and he was hugging his cousin and saying, I love you. And take care of yourself. And she was just like, what's wrong with you? Like, are you drunk or something? And he and this guy like agreed to drag race. And that was the way he went out. And then everybody thought about it after the fact, like maybe he already knew that it was his time to go, you know? And not just him alone, other people, even when I was a little kid, but I won't get into that. I think that a lot of the times we have, that sense of feeling that it's time to go. And it is what it is. But regardless of how long your life is, it's never long enough. It's not like as if, I always feel like as if people don't truly, especially, living in this matrix, you get fooled and tricked to do a lot of things that don't serve your purpose. But I still feel like as if there's always something that you could have done better because you mature as you get older and, hindsight is 50-50 or whatever. You realize things that you could have done differently, right? And so you always want to change. So I feel like as if that life is never long enough for any of us. However, that being said, when you die, there's so much more that you want to teach the present version of yourself. And so I want you to keep that in mind when you are creating your ancestor altar, when you are spending time at your ancestor altar, when you are, pouring your heart out about your life, remember theirs. And keep your ears open because there's so much wisdom that's gathered after you've left this realm. There's so much more that you know. Now you have no blinders on because as human beings, we're very limited in our scope. Spirit is not limited, okay? You're not limited at all, and especially not limited by a body. We're limited by our body, by what we can see, by our five senses, what we see, what we taste, what we touch, what we feel, what we hear. We're limited by those things. So, like, right now across the world, I don't know, the love of my life might be living. I couldn't be aware of it because I can't see that person. I can't hear that person. I can't touch them or feel them. I might have a sixth sense about them, intuition, but I'm not aware that person even exists. But my ancestors are like, yep, I see them. That's who you're supposed to be with. You know what I mean? Like, listen to me. Come this way. Come this way. Or, the perfect business partner, for example, might be, in Alaska some damn where. Okay, not Alaska. That's not far enough. Botswana or something. My perfect business partner might be there or something. And I have no perception of that. You know what I mean? Spirit can see so much further than what we can, and so much further into the past, present, and the future. And so that's what makes, ancestors particularly special. That's why I feel like ancestors are the key. You are the present version, but if you were to use your past version, you'd power forth in your present. And let me just say also, because we live in the present and then we die and we become part of the past, there's so much that we have to say. And so ancestors have so much to say, so much wisdom that they didn't get to tell you. And especially, if you, especially if you, grew up in a really large family where there's so many of you around that unless y'all were all sitting on the floor listening to, your great grandparents, your grandparents, your great aunts and uncles and stuff, unless you had the opportunity to sit down and just be taught and listen and made to listen to them about certain things, you really are lacking in wisdom from the past. And so that's one thing. In the present, we have a tendency to not follow our purpose, to think that, especially with this crappy primary education, we tend to think that we know something and we don't know a thing at all in order to really succeed. The life goes on, right? And we have children, and then that children is our future version of ourselves, and we're responsible for raising that future version of ourselves. Imagine how powerful the future version of ourselves would be if we were so in touch with our past version of ourselves and, living this evolved version of our present self. Imagine how powerful that future version of ourselves would be growing up with both influences, not just with the present influence and your limited scope and aspect of seeing things. It's amazing. It's really incredible. And then just to think like your child isn't just your present version of your future version of yourself, as in it's going to give you grandchildren. You're also like viewing your great grandchildren in a way. So that's life, right? It's really interesting. It's really cool to think of things outside of yourself and think about the decisions that you make and how they affect you yourself when you become part of the past, because all of this will pass away. And, it's interesting when you think about history and people who have, monuments and stuff built after them, peoples whose name live in history books and things like that, where not only are they past, but they're still present. And like right now, we're creating a new future. And I feel like for each and every one of us, it's best to create a new future with our ancestors in mind, with the wisdom of the past, not with, you know, scorn and hatred and bad things like that. A new future needs to be created with wisdom, not with just emotion. But anyway, that's enough of that. I want to encourage all of you to check the description box below because I'm offering some service. So I'm still doing Ancestor readings, still doing Shamanic Journeys, I'm still doing tarot readings, and I have also started a small business, and I mean small, um, with herbal products. And so I have an Etsy shop, and the link is below as well. You can check that out. And expect expansion. There's a small amount of products there, but plenty more to come. Plenty more that I'm working on at this time. So check all of those things out. And follow me on Instagram as well. The link is below. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, all of that good stuff, whatever, email me. My email address is also going to be below in the video. And I thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all next time.